The Catholic channel SiriusXM 129 presents The Jennifer Fulwiler Show.
So I have no pride, truly none, when it comes to my fitness goals, exercise, my experience at the gym. I wouldn't even know how to pretend to be prideful.
And now, here's Jennifer Fulwiler.
Hey there, and welcome to the Jennifer Fulwiler Show, your source for fresh takes on pop culture and the spiritual life. Your friend Jen joining you here from 3 to 4 East. That is noon to 1 Pacific. A little different than we normally do it. You know, on Tuesdays, we mix things up. We've got Cardinal Timothy Dolan there in the first hour. I was actually just on his show in a different part of town. So we've got him there. So I was on his show, but he's always there in the first hour. So on Tuesdays, I have a 1 hour show. Normally, I am with you for 2 hours. So we have a lot to get into the show today. There are a bunch of subjects that I want to talk about, but I am so excited that I have here in studio, in the Manhattan studios of SiriusXM, I have got one of my favorite people in the galaxy with us. I have been looking forward to this interview for so long. I can't even tell you. It has just been making my day every time I talk about it. We've got the Saga. He has been on the show before a couple of times, but he is now back here in studio. There is so much to talk about, and I'll describe who you are and what you do and all of that. But Saga, welcome back to the Jennifer Fulwiler Show.
Thank you for having me back. We had so much fun the first time, so I'm glad to be back with you and just to share these memories and to have more memories right now. So yeah, I'm excited.
And you know, so we talk to a lot of different people with a lot of different stories on this show. I mean, I've been privileged to talk to people who have been missionaries in far-flung corners of the world, people who are doing amazing work. And someone asked me a few weeks ago, they said, name your top 3 most just interesting people you have talked to in your time as a broadcaster. And I'm on the air every day, so I talk to a lot of people. And your name came up. I said, it's got to be the Saga. He is one of the most interesting people I have talked to. So I'm just so excited that you're here and you were able to come back.
Well, I'm excited to be mentioned amongst like you said, so many people you have a chance to sit down and talk to. So the fact that we shared something that you're like, obviously, Saga is one of my favorite. That means a lot to me personally. So thank you. And
I think it's a good example. So for people who aren't familiar with you, everyone needs to go follow you so they can look you up. You're the Saga across all social media, and that is Th3. Yes. And you're such an example of how God uses everyone in a different way. So you're a hip hop artist and you're a battle rapper, and I think a lot of my listeners probably don't know exactly what battle rapping is, so we will get to that in a minute. But it just goes to show you are having an impact, just like the missionary who was off on some other continent is having an impact, just like some author who wrote a book that did really well. I just look at the work that you're doing. It's very unique. Not a lot of other people are doing the kind of work that you're doing, and yet you see God working through you in very unique ways.
I think it's important, as a believer, I didn't want to compromise who I was in the battle rap culture, but I think there's a lot of room to grow in the culture, right? We've been fed so many degrading things and things that don't really help us out to edify our spirit, and I wanted to be one of those people that allow people to see that, listen, you could love Christ, be yourself, and impact a culture where they don't really accept you or where you feel like you don't fit in. And that's all I stand for. I just want to stand for the believers who are in areas that they're not comfortable in, but understand if you have Christ in your life, then it all works out. You could be that light in that darkness. So.
I love that. And so for someone who has never heard of the concept of battle rapping, they're not familiar with it at all, explain what that is for someone who has never seen a battle rap.
Okay. To put it for people who don't really understand, I'm pretty sure even though you may not understand what battle rap is, I'm pretty sure you've seen or heard of the movie 8 Mile with Eminem, or I believe they have like on MTV, they have Wild 'N Out, where they have the Wild Style battle, and pretty much battle rap is it's like a lyrical competition. You have 3 rounds or so going back and forth with your words, and just to see who's the best lyrically, who's the best with the performance and stuff like that. So battle rap is just a lyrical competition between 2 artists, and they go back and forth, and that's pretty much what I'm involved in as well. Besides being a hip hop artist, I've been a fan of battle rap for years, and I figure why not just step into the culture and be who I am.
I love it. And so, and the reason I'm spending so much time establishing this is because I think every single person listening, even if they are not going to become battle rappers themselves, every person listening, I'm telling you, you guys who are skeptics who think, well, I don't know anything about battle rap culture. No. There is a lot that every single one of us can learn from what the Saga is doing here. But first, I need you to understand what battle rapping is, because I think a lot of my listeners don't know. And I will say also, this is an older tradition than people realize. I mean, I was reading the other day, even in the time of Shakespeare, it was common to have, it was almost like a poetry slam. You know, people would speak to one another, kind of give each other a hard time, have little competitions, and they'd speak in verse. And this is no different. It's the exact same thing.
Exact same thing. It's just, you know, like you said, it's just like, it's the competition aspect of it. You go two creative minds going at it back and forth, whether what art form it is, whether poetry or rap, it shares the same spirit in regards to that. You know?
And so we have some clips. We're going to play them in a little bit. My producer is out and about, and I need to check with her where the clips are. But so we'll play them in a little bit. But I wanted, one thing about battle rap culture is it is known for being a little vulgar a lot of the time. People are going to insult your mother and say,
it's very vulgar. Very.
And so to set the stage for, again, 8 Mile, that movie kind of popularized it, but for people who hadn't seen 8 Mile, so you've got a crowd, and the crowd is rowdy. So they're watching it. This is always in front of a crowd. Very often everyone's got their cell phones out, they're videoing it. So you're up on a stage. It's totally high pressure. Yes. And so first some guy will say something to you. You know, he'll do some insults, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to come back. And it is just not an option not to have something to say, right? I mean, if you were to be on stage and say, I mean, you would be laughed out of the
moment you even utter a or a on stage, the crowd is getting ready to eat you alive. They will boo you. Yeah. I've seen, it hasn't happened to me per se, but I've seen situations where battle rappers have forgot their material, and it's kind of like cringe. It's cringeworthy. Yeah. It's like, oh man, I feel so bad for them because the crowd is not going to let them live that out.
It's almost like modern day gladiatorial combat in the sense that the crowd is kind of like, they kind of want someone, you know, to get just killed there, you know?
The crowd came to see blood.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like when they see blood, it's like, oh, yep, we got him. It's over.
Oh, man.
They want to see somebody fall.
All right. So we do have a clip here. So let's take a listen. So let's play one of the clips of Saga battle rapping. We're also going to have some. I want to listen to your new music, and I can't wait to get into everything else. But
awesome.
Let's take a listen.
A lot of yelling and screaming tonight, but off those last couple of bars, you need to be calm and subtle. You trying to bring up chess, not to mention this what happens when God rebuttals. Y'all trying to tell me? Yo! Shouts to my boy right here. I told Suge, I don't care about what your life like. Jesus jokes or lines how them hammers drawn. Cause I've been battling demons my whole life. So what's 3 rounds with some cameras on? And they brought a demon here to test my faith. But there's no well prepared whenever they try. I hope you're ready to die. I don't play games with demons. One punch and the devil may cry. I came to murder you. I came to murder you. I came to murder you. It's that simple. Cause the fans saying I need respect, nothing intricate. Just plain breakdowns like Aaliyah's death. Roll call.
Saga, I love this. So you go up there, and I'm sure what has been said to you previously was there's, you know, some profanity and all of that. And so you don't violate your Christian principles. No. You don't go down to their level. You're not talking about, you know, insulting their family, insulting their girlfriend, whatever. And I think people must be amazed to see you up there and not using profanity, not dropping F-bombs, not making vulgar sexual comments. People cannot imagine how hard it is just to battle rap, period, even if you have the entire human vocabulary at your disposal. But you are limited. It's like you are going into a gladiatorial battle, but the other guy has a sword and you don't. I mean, does it feel like that sometimes?
It feels like that every time, every single time. And I think what makes that particular clip so special was the opponent that I had. And his name is Tink the Demon, right? So Tink the Demon is solely off the idea that, you know, Christ never existed. So this was like a perfect matchup in a sense. You have the person who just doesn't believe in Christ versus the believer. And the whole time in his first round, he's just trying to break down Christ. He's trying to break down what I do, what I believe in. And in the middle of doing this, he throws up.
What?
Right in the middle of talking about Christ, he throws up.
What?
Like about 3-4 minutes into his round. And as he's throwing up, the crowd, I wish they got it on camera, but the crowd was saying, "That's God right there. You don't play around with God." So the moment you said, like, when they see blood, they're ready to pounce on that. So you see him throw up, they see a sign of weakness, and they're like, "Oh man, this is serious." So
Whoa.
I start off. So the clip you just heard was me freestyling about the fact that he threw up after talking about God, and then going into my round. So there's a lot of elements to battle rap. There's like you pre-written, you have stuff where you can go off the top of the head, and that was off the top of the head moment where I said the God rebuttal line. And that battle was just in itself was just amazing to see how God can work in that, you know. So it was crazy. It was so crazy.
Wow. And so, well, so first of all, that is really crazy that this guy's insulting God, you know, saying things about Jesus or whatever, and then he ends up getting ill while he's doing that.
Right in the middle of it, just out of nowhere.
Wow.
And he was fine the entire night. Nothing to lead up to it, and all of a sudden the moment he starts mentioning Christ, just threw up.
And this guy, it couldn't have been nerves because this guy's on the stage all the time, right?
All the time. He had a battle a little bit before we had a battle. So this is something he's used to. He's a professional. And when that moment happened, I was in complete shock. I was like, no, did he really just, is this really happening right now? And you know, I had to kind of just get back into battle rap mode and just focus and get back. But yeah, that battle in particular was something I'll never forget.
Yeah. Wow. And I think here's one of the things that we can kind of all take away from this. I think we've all had moments where we sort of feel like the underdog. You know, we're the one, we're hamstrung by our faith because we can't resort to the vulgarity or, you know, whatever it is. And I don't mean to say hamstrung like, you know, life is better when you can drop a bunch of F-bombs. But just we don't, you know, we feel a little bit like I've got to keep it in line and this guy can do whatever he wants. But very often you kind of see God moving, right? Mm-hmm. You're just kind of reminded, oh yeah, I'm not doing this alone. You know, like Christ is with us when we stand up for countercultural principles. And sometimes it's kind of an eerie moments like that.
Yeah.
Did he stay on stage?
Yeah, no, yeah. He
wow, battle rappers are serious.
He threw up for about 5 minutes or so, came back, and he finished the rest of his first round. That was the first round he did it, like right off the gate. The battle starts. I win the coin toss. He goes first. And in the middle of his first round, he threw up, you know, got himself together, and continued the rest of, you know, whatever he had left in his round. And then I was up next. I was at the bottom of the first, and I did the freestyle and mentioned the throw up. And, you know, from there it was kind of just like, and it's crazy how it works out because everything that he already had planned in his rounds, I perfectly had a rebuttal set in my round to kind of just like diffuse everything without knowing what he's going to say prior. So that's why I knew God's hand was on it, because he prepared the argument and prepared the answer for it. And,
wow.
And that was a big moment.
And yeah, I mean, I think in battle rapping and in any conversations about faith, I mean, Saga, I get so many emails since my background is atheism and I converted to the faith from that background. A lot of people email me and say, man, you know, my spouse is an atheist or my kids, they're all atheists now. And I've just been, you know, I'm trying to make sure that I say the exact right things. And I think what you go through in the battle rap world is a lesson to all of us that, yeah, you know, you need to know your stuff and prepare to some extent, but there's a point where you just say, like, you have to turn it over to God and trust that I'm doing my best. I've prayed about this. My heart's in the right place. And you know what? This isn't up to me. Ultimately, this is God's work. And I'm his pencil, you know, that he's using to write with, right?
I think we have moments where we want to know the answer to everything. And when we don't, we're at a point of frustration, because what we have to understand, like, God is God for a reason. You know, we won't have the answer to everything. Like, we won't understand how things work. And that's where faith comes in, because where we don't have the understanding, we have to just lean on God and be like, you know what, God, I may not understand what's going on. I may not understand what's happening in life, but that's where I lean on you for complete understanding and peace in that. But, you know, I've had friends who were atheists, and they were just so upset trying to break things down and why this is happening, why that is happening, why God doesn't exist. But God is beyond our little thoughts, and just, you know, like, he's all knowing, he's all powerful. How could we possibly understand with our minds, our small minds, how could we understand how big God is? There's certain things that we're not going to be able to understand, even with science or technology, because God is God, and he's past anything that we can even comprehend. So.
Yeah, and I think it shows that I think sometimes we think we're almost doing a better job if we push ourselves to our limits and we stress and we freak out, and, you know, we kind of act like it's all up to us to witness or to get the word out about our faith, or even just to, you know, be a good presence in the lives of people we know who aren't believers. But you make such a great point that God is so much bigger than we are, and you know what? If you had kind of forced some lyrics rather than just letting the inspiration flow and see where God's leading you, they probably wouldn't have been a good fit with what that battle rapper had just said to you. Right. That we're really limiting the situation when we force control and act like it's all up to us and we have all the answers.
Right.
So you sent my producer Jackie a second clip. So what's going on in the second clip?
All right, so I just came back from a great night at an open mic called Theology, and me and my friends decided to go to an Applebee's, and we're having a good time. We just finished eating dinner, and one of my friends, Kevin, hears two waiters battling in the background. So they're play battling. It's just like throwing lines here and there. So Kevin is like, "Yo, Saga, I think they're battling back there." So me being me, every time I see somebody battling, I jump up and I walk over to them like, "Oh, who's battling?" And they're like, "Oh my God, is this Saga right now?"
They recognize you.
And then all of a sudden, the manager comes out. And his name is Chuck, and he was like, "Trey, battle Saga right now."
What?
And I'm battle him right now. Go get him, Trey. And I'm like, nah, this can't be serious. So the moment I see everybody pulling out their phones, I'm just like,
and other people are in on this now.
Everybody's in on this now. Mind you, I didn't know what was gonna happen. This is all freestyle right there in the moment, and he just came at me. Everybody had their phone out recording. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to rap now.
So this is no prep.
No preparation at all.
You're just in an Applebee's. You're trying to have a burger.
Enjoying life, and all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, I find myself in a battle with an Applebee's waiter. It just...
Your life is amazing. Wait, and by the way, before we play the clip, you are one of my very favorite people to follow on Instagram. You are Th3 Saga on Instagram, and that's Th3. So you're very easy to find. Th3 Saga on Instagram. Oh yeah, of course.
So many people forget it.
No, you can't forget it because that's so brilliant and creative. I love it. So I really, really encourage people, they can follow these kind of adventures when they follow you on Instagram. So all right, Jackie, let's play the clip of the Saga surprise battle rapping at an Applebee's. This is just the best thing I've ever heard. I love it.
I'm gonna have to say the first prayer. I'm gonna send this soldier to the Lord with casualties. After these, he ain't never gonna come back to an Applebee's. He gonna be mad at me. You gotta be okay with dropping plates. Now I'm about to raise the stakes. I'm gonna go in the back and give you a medium rare the way they raise the stakes. Or you want a herd sheep, you know, Jesus, the herd sheep. Well, I can raise the stakes. Cattle. You don't want to battle. Because we all made mistakes. And yo, Chucky, you my manager. But I didn't even break the plate. Oh, I can put the 40 through his Saga face. Look at Saga face though. Nah, that's time. Let's go, boy. Let's go. I'm about to sit DeMarco. Talk to him.
All right, is this you speaking at this point, Saga?
This is me right now.
Okay, let's put it back up.
Well, let's get one thing straight. I never knew Steve Urkel would be working at an Applebee's. I mean, let's be honest, bro. I just say how I feel. You came in with a bunch of bars and you claiming you real. But if I beat you tonight, forget my car, you gonna have to be paying my bill.
$3.99 for everything.
Yo, Trey, don't get fold up.
Saga, this is just so brilliant. So again, for people just joining us, you're just trying to get some food at an
trying to get my little little appetizers, my little mozzarella sticks, and all of a sudden I find myself in a battle with a waiter. Shouts to Trey. He's a good sport, but
Well, and okay, so yet another lesson, and I really think, oh, you know what? I need to get you a book deal. I like this vision, okay? So I think that there is a lot that a lot of us can take away from your life as a battle rapper. So here is one example that sometimes you are just called on the floor when you're just trying to get your onion rings. What is it? They have the potato skins. Like you're just trying to have some potato skins and some onion rings. People are coming up at you and asking you to start battle rapping. And you know what? Out of pride or out of worry of failure, you could have said, no, not tonight. I'm not going to do it. Right. And I think a lot of people, maybe who aren't battle rappers, but just opportunities come up in life that it might be kind of cool. It might be kind of interesting. You could do something different. But then people think, but I might fail. Especially, you've got people, their cell phones are out. They are already recording. If you had done the, and couldn't find anything to say, it'd be all over the internet. They'd be tagging you. Look at the Saga. He got punked by this guy at Applebee's. Yeah. But, you set aside your pride, and do you kind of look at it like it's an adventure? Like, even if I fail, it'll be a funny story. Or do you just say, I'm not going to fail?
No, I say this. Failure is one of the best things that can happen in situations, whether good or bad, in regards to, okay, if I lose the battle, what do we take from this? He had a great time battling somebody he enjoys to watch. He leaves with the memory that even if I lose the battle, I gain a supporter, regardless if I win or lose. That's something I hold on to. So after the battle, we got together and we exchanged numbers and stuff like that. And regardless if you feel like he won or not, it's about the experience. Like, oh, I got to battle one of my favorite battle rappers. I'll never forget this night. And if he won or not, it wouldn't change the fact that we had a moment. So it wouldn't really matter to me. Like, I've had moments where I freestyled against people and completely forgot anything I was gonna say or messed up. But it's a process, You grow slowly but surely. But it's about the moment for me, like I left him with a memory that he wouldn't have gotten any other way, so I was really happy to share that moment with everybody at the Applebee's. It was amazing.
And I really like that idea of so many times when we're evaluating some situation that comes up, maybe something that God even calls us to do, we think in terms of this success-failure paradigm. Right. You saying, that your success-failure paradigm could have been, will I look good? Will I win triumphantly? Will everyone say I'm the best battle rapper they've ever seen? But instead, you looked at it like, I hope I do a good job, but I'm giving this guy a cool experience. It'll be a fun evening. And so you kind of evaluate it like it's a cool moment. Yeah. And it kind of fits with your name. Saga. A saga is a great story. Yes. And when we let go of our success-failure paradigms and just throw ourselves into the situation that God puts in front of us, it leads to a saga. I mean, it leads to a great story. So I feel like that kind of fits with your name. It's
just no matter what, a win or a loss, no matter what it is, no matter what it can be, it's about the story. If I leave battle rap today, I know that waiter at that Applebee's had one of their last battles with me, and that's something that he can leave with, and it adds on to the legacy that I want to leave behind in regards to, my faith, my walk, and just how I treat people. I could, like you said, I could have just went up there and was like, nah, I don't want to battle. I don't feel like it. I'm out. But it's like, it's about the journey. It's about having fun. It's about messing up. It's about doing things right, all in one story. So yeah, I think that's what matters the most to me.
I think that is such an important point. And so I just have this vision of a book that you could write about life lessons from a battle rapper. I need to talk to my publisher. We need to get you a book deal, because I really do think that in order to do what you do, and especially as a Christian, that is what is so interesting to me, that especially as a Christian, that you walk into the lion's den. You're out there publicly, and people are expecting, they kind of want you to fail probably sometimes.
Every time.
Every time. And one of the big things that I thought was so interesting when I was first exploring Christianity was the idea that we are supposed to be humble. And, knowing nothing about Christianity, I thought that meant low self-esteem. And I thought, these Christians with their crazy talk, like that's not healthy to have low self-esteem. But what I realized with humility, and it's been one of the greatest lessons of my life, is humility is just not making things about your ego and being willing to. There was some great saint who talked about being a fool for Christ. And I can't think of who it was, so I'm badly paraphrasing here. But she said basically, I don't want to just worship Christ. I don't want to only follow Christ. I want to be willing to be a fool for Christ. Like I'm doing what he's calling me to do. I'm going where he wants me to go. And yeah, there are going to be some people who laugh at me. Yes. And there are going to be some times when I fail. There are going to be times when people don't work out, when things don't work out. But that's okay because it's about God's plan and not my ego.
I agree. I think that's how every person who activates in any type of ministry or any walk, it's definitely an act of humility because, we have to be able to see ourselves past what we think we are and just understand what God has called us to and what God wants for us. And sometimes that means us putting our pride in the back seat and allowing God to steer the ship and like, you know what, God, I'm gonna let you do what you need to do. And, putting any status or position or anything we feel about ourselves to the side and allowing God to do what he needs to do, so even if it means breaking us down for the greater good of everybody else or things that we may see as humiliating to us for the glory of something greater than ourselves, so I think it's important.
And that is why now everyone knows why I said at the beginning of the show, you are one of my all-time favorite guests. And it's exactly why, because you're learning all of these lessons that every single one of us needs to hear, but you're learning them in such an interesting way.
Such an interesting way. Golly.
It is. All right, Saga, we've got to get a break out of the way. When we come back, I want to hear some of your music.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about the fact actually, I want people to look you up right now. Use the break. Get out your phone. Get the Instagram app. That's my favorite social media. Look up the Saga. Th3 Saga.
Yes.
Would you actually read your bio to me? The first part, the bolded part right there, or next to your name, it says the Saga. What does it say in parentheses there?
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Text me 415-843-7242.
So I just gave out your number on the air. Here's my guess here, the Saga. Here is his number. 415-843-7242. This number really works?
Yes.
Text him. You can text him at 415
right now
843-7242. And I am not joking. That is really his number, 415-843-7242.
Yes.
What are you thinking giving out your cell phone number on? You've got 25,000 followers just on Instagram. What are you doing?
I'll put it like this. Of the 25,000 on Instagram, I want to ask you a question. How many do you think genuinely follow to support? Because there's a lot of ghost followers, right? So there's people that they follow you for the views or they just want to see what you're doing. But of those people that enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy what God is doing, I want to build with them on a personal level, and I want to build a tight-knit community called The Outsiders. So everybody who texts me on that phone, this is not a scam. I literally pick up my phone every single time and I respond to every single person. I think I have over 200 people on my phone right now, and it's not even about the number. It's about building a relationship with everybody who genuinely believes in what I'm doing. So I decided to just put my number out there and just give it to people. Like, listen, if you believe what I'm doing, if you love what the Saga is doing, if you love what God is doing in the Saga, here's my number. Don't be afraid to text me. Like, it's all right, so that's what I'm doing. It sounds crazy. I promise you, it sounds crazy, but there's a genius. There's a genius in actually building a relationship with your fans and not just calling them fans, but inviting them into your family. Like, you have my number now. You could hit me up. I've called people on their birthdays. I call people on different occasions, so it's an opportunity to build with people who love what God is doing to me, and
I'm posting this on my Instagram right now. I'm telling people to text you. It's so funny. So, but my followers are very, they're kind of non-confrontational. They wouldn't want to bother you. So I don't know if my people would probably be, afraid that they would be, troubling you to text you. So, okay. One of the things I like about this.
Somebody named Braylon just texted me. I think
Braylon? Okay,
Braylon.
that
might be somebody.
That might be one of mine. I don't know.
This ain't real. I'm gonna text him right now. So, Braylon, I just received your text message just now.
I love it. Okay, so battle rapping goes way back, and one of the things I like about what you're doing is you are using everything that God has given us in the modern age as a way to further this work that you do and the people you're connecting with. Back the guys who were battle rapping 20 years ago, they didn't have Instagram, Facebook, these ways to connect with their fans. They didn't have texting. They would be like, you'd call on the rotary dial phone, and they'd like pick up the cord like, hello, So yeah, I think it's a very innovative thing that you said, you know what, we've got all this great stuff. We've got texting, we've got social media, and yeah, people can use it for bad, but what's a way that I can use it for good, and not just use it for good, but use it for connection? Because ultimately, as Christians, in everything we do, you with your music, me with my radio show, if we are not ultimately trying to connect with the greatest extent possible to the people who listen to us, we're doing it wrong.
Yes, come on.
And so what kind of reactions do you get when people, do most people, do they think that you're going to reply?
They honestly think it's like some fake number. They think it's like, all right, I'm going to text it just to see if he responds, but I don't got my hopes up. So when they text me, hey, Saga, today's my birthday. Just wanted to see if this is really you. And I call them. They're like,
So you
is this
call
really
them?
Saga? I call on their birth, and that's the thing about it. Like, once you text my phone, it has a form you fill out, right? So it actually lets me compartmentalize everybody in a sense. Like, okay, David's birthday is on January 1st, and I'll get an alert to my phone that says January 1st, David's birthday.
You are kidding.
And I call David on his birthday. So things like that, where somebody texts me like, hey, listen, I just want to see if this is real, but today's my birthday. I'm like, oh, really? Call him up. Hey, this is Saga. Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. How's your day going? You good? All right, listen, just be encouraged. Have a blessed day. And they're just like, I wasn't expecting anything back. And it's all about relationship. It's all about relationship. So any chance I get to build with anybody that supports what I'm doing, I want to build with them. Those are the people I want to be around. People that love what God is doing to me are the people I want to keep around me at all times.
That's a great idea, but I wish that people could see the look on my face right now, because I don't like phone calls with people I don't know. So I didn't. You guys, if you get my number, like, I'm not going to call you. I might like text you back, but it stresses me out to call my mom. Like, okay, what if someone keeps you on the phone? What if someone, I don't know, what if someone starts talking your ear off? What do you do? As a socially awkward person, this would go so badly for me. I would end up like 2 hours later still on the phone with someone like, I kind of have to go.
I never want to be that person who has a level of status that doesn't be able to give back. I've been in positions where I've seen some of my favorite artists in the world, and they've kind of just hit me with the cold shoulder or a little brush, like, all right, nice to see you, and the feeling it gave me, So I want to be able to promise myself that I'll never do that at any point in time if somebody feels influenced or they look up to what I'm doing. So if they talk, I've had people talk me for 2 hours, talk my face off for 2 hours, and I will sit there and I will smile and laugh and be like, that's funny. Listen, I have to go now, but I hope you have a great day. And just the fact that I called them and they're just so open. Oh my God, listen, I love what you're doing. I love the battle rap. Oh man, I wish my mother was here. She loves your stuff too. And stuff like that is kind of just like, I get it. They're excited because they don't really have this opportunity to build with somebody that they actually watch or listen to. So I want to be able to give that joy to as many people as I can. I won't hit everybody up in the world at one time, but it's an honest effort to build with my community of my supporters, people who love what I'm doing. So
you know what it does, Saga? It shows the trust that you have in God. And this is where, like, my spiritual journey is lagging behind yours a bit, because I would say, and I've had things like this happen. Actually, here's an example. I had a guest who was on this show said, I was running through the airport. I was late for my plane. I had to get to my gate, and someone stopped me. And this person had written a book, and someone stopped me and said, oh, man, your book, like, I was going through this crisis, and like, I can't even tell you. And the guy stopped and had the conversation. And this, like heathen over here, I'm like, well, what about your flight? Didn't you have to get on your plane? Like, come on. And this person, and this guest of mine ended up really impacting this person who was having a crisis of faith. And he said, you know what it is? Once again, you trust that God will move. Amen. He said, I just felt peace with standing there and talking to this man. And he said he did end up making his flight, but he looked at it like, maybe I just wasn't supposed to be on that plane. And maybe this is God's way of telling me that. And I trust that God will work it out. So when people text you, when people, and you call them, like if it's their birthday, you might call them to tell them happy birthday. I guess you kind of trust. You say, yeah, this guy might start crying. This woman might, start going on and on. I might get stuck on the phone longer than I wanted to be on the phone, but I trust that God will work it out.
These are opportunities to reach out to people and just showing them how close we are. A phone call away, a text message away, allows a sense of accountability as well. They're just like, yo, Saga, I'm going through it today. And if I can't get to them immediately, it's the knowing that I'm praying for you tonight, David or Sasha or whoever. And it's knowing that, all right, he's making an honest effort. What's allowing him this much trust and happiness in his life to want to reach out to everybody? There has to be something to this God he serves. And even in that, while I'm on the phone with them, it's the idea of showing them, listen, I'm not as different as anybody else. Like, I love God and I want to share that same happiness he's given to me. So how can I do that? Here's my number. If you have a problem that I can really just get to and we could talk about it, I want to share the love of Christ with you. I want to share the love of God. I want to share that peace that he's granted me. And through my testimony, I want to show you that beyond battle rap, beyond music, I would be nothing without God. Period. So if I can share that with you over the phone rather than an Instagram comment or a tweet or a retweet, then let's get on the phone. Let's talk about it.
Wow. And you know what else I love about this is a lot of people have talked about this idea, like Pope Francis has talked about this, Mother Teresa talked about this. A lot of people talk about how we have in the modern world an epidemic of loneliness.
Yes.
And I think that so many people are lonely. There's so many things about our culture today separate us from one another. Everything from hookup culture to, just kind of the media telling us that your whole life should revolve around your career and that you've got to do your own thing all the time or else you'll never be happy. And it leads us that we're all kind of going in our own little orbits. And I think so many people have these moments of waking up and saying, gosh, I'm not really going deep with anyone. I mean, I've got a lot of people on my phone, but is there anyone who's really going to pray for me today? Is there anyone who I am that close to? And so I think that is very meaningful that you're giving out your phone number. People can look it up. They can look you up on Facebook or Instagram. The Saga, Th3 Saga, right there in your bio, 415-843-7242. There's your number. And you'll if they say, hey man, could you pray for me today? You will. You'll reply back. I love it.
It's I've been, like you bring a valid point about loneliness. I was one of those people who felt that loneliness, having a phone list full of people, a contact list full of people, and still feeling like I don't know who to reach out to. Friends in my life and preachers, pastors, spiritual leaders, having them in my life and still feeling like I don't have anybody to call on. Above anything else, you have to call on to God. Period. And after that, you need that sense of accountability to somebody. You need to build a relationship with somebody where, even if we're not as close right now, can you just pray for me? Just something as simple as, wow, I know that one of my favorite artists or my favorite battle rapper is taking time out of his day, not only to respond to what I'm doing, but to pray on my behalf, for my depression, my loneliness, anything that I'm struggling with. It allows another sense of encouragement because you're not in this alone. And that's why I feel like I want to build this community a lot closer because it's more than just me. Like you're not alone in this situation, and I'm not the only one that's going to pray for you. But if you need confirmation that God is sending somebody to pray for you or to look out for you, I will be that person and I will pray on your behalf. And just, God, I lift up Susan, I lift up Elizabeth, I lift up whoever. And it's just like knowing that on top of you connecting with God again, it allows just a refreshing of your spirit and of what you do. So, I just want to just want to build with people. I love people, so I want to build with people.
Wow, that's so inspiring. And I also love how it just shows how God can take our dark moments and turn it into something beautiful. That you experienced that loneliness and you turned it into trying to be that solution for someone else, rather than, I think the enemy will attack us and say, turn in on yourself. Oh, you can't trust those other people. Just turn in on yourself. And I think that's one of the ways that those kind of situations just get worse and worse and worse as we stop connecting with others.
I've been that person. Depression has had a tight hold on me for as long as I can remember. And that depression was like a seed that grew into a tree, and that tree had branches of trying different things, smoking, drinking, an addiction to pornography, things that it's more so just isolating myself from everybody and just digging myself into a little hole. This is where I feel free. And in all reality, I fooled myself into thinking that loneliness is the best solution. When you need people around you, you need accountability. You need people that are going to reach out and say, how can I pray for you today? What are you good? God told me something in my heart. And are you good right now? Are you sure? Somebody randomly calling you. Yeah, God pressed you on my heart tonight. Is everything all right?
Whoa! So sometimes God will put just one of your fans who texted you on. He'll put them on your heart, and you call them to check in.
Yeah, it's.
I love you. You are. You are so amazing.
No, listen. I'm just as flawed as anybody else, but any way then I can help somebody. I'm not saying I'm gonna change thousands of lives, but I'm saying if I reach out to one person and that one person changes 1,000 lives through our encounter, then why not go to that extent of being that person? If I can effectively change 5 lives, then the mediocre 5,000, I know that 5 will reach a greater number than myself. So the people on my phone list, if I have a chance to build with you, and I have a chance to pray with you and just go over word with you, just call you on your birthday, make sure you're good. That in itself can make them be like, you know what? I want to reach out to somebody today myself. Just, you know what? I feel so good right now. I want to pray for that homeless man that stands outside of McDonald's. I want to do this, that, and the third. And it just allows a level of fellowship and ministry. You know what I mean? So.
Wow. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, let's listen to some of your music. So you have a new album, right?
I'm working on a new project. Yes.
All right,
I'm working on a new project called AOL.
All right.
And it's an acronym for As of Late. And it's pretty much, my first project was called Loner, in which spoke on my past situations, like dealing with my mother and father's divorce and things of my past. And now As of Late is kind of just we're in present time with what I'm dealing with the battle rap life and the music and the scrutiny from the battle rap world and how I'm just trying to adjust to everything. And AOL should be dropping early 2018. So.
All right. So what's the music that Jackie has? What's that from? Is it from AOL?
We have Tyson vs. Holyfield. That's a new release. Ease the Pain. More so, some of these records are just music in this time that are not from the project, but just it's kind of holding people until the project is done.
Smart. All right.
Okay, here's some songs here and there, and enjoy it until you get the full body of work.
I love it. Which one should they start playing right now?
Oh man, I would say Ease the Pain is an amazing song.
Ease the Pain.
Ease the Pain is kind of just taking, like what I said, the whole loneliness thing, and featuring my brother Proof, and Ease the Pain.
Wow. And so is there kind of a network? I think there is. Well, actually, I know some of the guys in this network of kind of Christian hip hop artists.
Yeah.
Now, is there a network of Christians who also battle rap, or are you the only one?
Oh no. Shouts to Loso, Street Hymns, and A-Ward. We're actually a Christian faction now in battle rap.
Nice.
And we're called the Four Horsemen. And
wow.
It's amazing. We're from different leagues and stuff like that, but we came together to represent one Christ.
That is so cool. Tell me again the name of the song.
This song's called Ease the Pain, featuring Proof, one half New Vision, and I hope you guys are really blessed by it.
All right, well, let's pause and take a listen to Ease the Pain and follow the saga on social media, Th3 Saga. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, we expect to always find solution when the pain is real deep. That is an illusion. If you're healing only in a moment, then I promise it's cheap. Call of Duty cause we getting kill street. Hurt people always hurt people. I'm just wishing that I could reverse evil, cause I seen it active in the good fellas.
Is this Proof who's singing right now? Or is that you?
That's
what I thought. Okay. Do you write the lyrics, or is he coming in with his own lyrics here?
Oh yeah, we write together. He wrote his verse, I wrote my verse.
Nice. Nice. This is a very deep feeling song, Saga.
It's a lot of what I struggle with. I try to express it in a cool manner, but speaking on my issues with liquor and trying to jump from woman to woman in my past, just to find things to ease the pain in my heart,
Yeah.
And realizing that none of these things satisfied me, and just like going to, God is the only source of healing that I need. So
yeah,
just going through that whole story in the song.
And where can people get this music? Is it, well, I guess they can just, if they look you up on Facebook or Instagram, you got links?
On the link in my bio, on my IG, theoutsiders.com, th3outsiders.com. You can listen to it there on SoundCloud. It's the official music video is out on YouTube. Just type in Ease the Pain and type in my name, Th3 Saga. And yeah, I mean, it's out there. Definitely going to be more music available on other streaming services. But for this one, it was just like, hey, let's just put this out for free for the people and let them enjoy that. But yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, but we'll have to go to a break in a second. But give us one more song we can start playing and talk about.
Oh, man. Tyson vs. Holyfield is one of my favorite songs to play. It's playing with the idea of one of the most infamous fights, Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, and just playing off the idea that we're in a constant struggle. It's a daily fight with the flesh, So Tyson versus Holyfield is just a fun way of, it's like pump up music. You play it in the gym to get hype and get you through. So yeah, Tyson vs. Holyfield.
All right, we'll start it playing here in just a second. And I think that's an aspect of the Christian life that really comes through in hip hop music. I don't see it come through as often. I mean, sometimes it does, but not quite as often in some of our other genres of Christian music. It's just the absolute battle of the Christian life. I mean, you've got spiritual attack, and then sometimes you're just depressed, and you've got all these demons, and you're trying to do the right thing, and it's so hard. And I love it that you have a song like this, and you hear this in a lot of your songs. It just goes into the absolute struggle that the Christian life can be.
Yeah, so I just try to best portray that in the song Tyson vs. Holyfield.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I'll let people hear it in just a second, but I think that's another thing that I think Christianity would almost seem more appealing to young people if they understood that struggle element of it. That this isn't just like we're all not just silly, shallow people. Like we battle, every day, all of us. Yeah,
it's a part of the process. Like you have to go through it in order to get to something. So it's a part of the process.
All right, well, let's pause for a second so that people can hear this. Tyson versus Holyfield. That's lacking the vision in order they're actually forgiven. Getting paid off of these blessings, like why even ask for commission? Recognize that the passion is missing. They don't want none like Catholic women. Where you from? I'm actually different. Doing major, but I'm rapping independent. Every battle they get smacking attendance. I'm snatching bodies like the rapture up in it. Bodies for the body with the bodies. Then I go to church and then I ask for forgiveness. So the enemy. Is this a learned skill that you can speak so quickly? So my husband and I one time had a hip hop karaoke party, and I thought that I was just going to be able to tear it up with my favorite hip hop songs.
Right.
I was pathetic, Saga. It was pathetic because I just couldn't speak that quickly.
No, it's definitely a process. I assure you. Like it's listening to a song, listening to somebody else do it, and training yourself how to say things slower, and then speeding up a little bit more, and to the point that you can actually do it. So with that song, it's just going back and forth with the fast flow, slow, and it took a little while to record, but I'm glad it came out the way it did.
What you do, I'm constantly on this mission to help people appreciate the work that goes into hip hop. I understand that I'm sure I have plenty of listeners who are going to say it's just not my genre. I'm not sure if that's ever going to be something I listen to a lot. And so I say, okay, fine. Maybe it's not everyone's genre, but you have to appreciate the work that goes into this. It actually takes a tremendous amount of skill. It really does. You have
to. I think the appreciation of just the art of it is just amazing. I never thought I would be into country music until I listened to Brett Eldredge's album. And I tell you right now, I'm a great fan of country now. And it's like beyond what I thought I liked You have to appreciate art for what it is. And then all of a sudden you'll find something you like within that art. Like, oh, this is a good representation of something I could listen to. So I think for people who don't listen to rap, it's just like, maybe you just have to find a certain artist to just open your eyes and open your mind to something different.
I love it. It's kind of like I say with following sports. You're going to get more into it if you find a team you care about.
Exactly.
You know? All right, Jackie's about to throw something at me if I don't get to break. Let's take a quick break, and we will be back with more with the saga right after this.
This has been the podcast of The Jennifer Fulwiler Show, courtesy of the Catholic Channel on SiriusXM 129. The Jennifer Fulwiler Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. East, only on the Catholic Channel, SiriusXM 129.